The LG C2 OLED is one of the most popular TVs of 2022, and with its incredible performance for gamers and media enthusiasts alike, it'll certainly be a popular choice going into 2023 as well. Having had recent price reductions before the LG C3 arrival, it's a compelling pick to choose when it comes to OLED TVs. For myself, as a newer dad, I'm spending far more of my limited time gaming on TVs instead of PCs. Personally, it's easier and more relaxing to grab a controller, melt into my couch, and game on my PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X at the end of a long day. And as someone who appreciates high refresh gaming coming from PC, the LG C2 OLED has made my console gaming experience that much better. Not to mention, shows and movies are absolutely stellar, and spoiler, you really won't be disappointed. So here's a long-term review of the LG C2 OLED from a tired gamer dad who appreciates an incredible TV. I'll also have all product links for everything in my setup linked down below in the video description. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. On this channel, I cover gaming, tech, and a few things in between, so if you enjoy the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you don't, you'll wake up before your alarm clock, just enough that you can't really fall back asleep. The first thing I want to touch on before I get into gaming is the build and design, and truly it's held up extraordinarily well over the year. I'm still amazed at how thin and light this TV is, and it's largely due to the OLED panel. The overall design is super refined with wildly thin bezels, and if you're coming from an older TV, this will have a pretty huge shock value. The center-oriented stand has minimal branding as well, and it feels like premium metal material. Having a center-oriented stand, there is a little bit of wobble back and forth for the TV itself, but this really hasn't been an issue for me. Less so if I end up mounting this on a wall. I will say the profile of the height of my stand is a little bit short, so I'll have to take this into consideration when I get a soundbar later this year. The model I ended up going with is 55 inches, although I really do wish I went with a minimum 65. The available sizes are 42, 48, 55, 65, 77, and a massive 83. What's actually totally badass here is that I'm seeing a lot of people using the 42-inch model as a PC monitor, although without a DisplayPort you will need a 6000 or 30 series GPU and later to get that high refresh through HDMI 2.1. Regarding HDMI and the ports, one thing I absolutely love here is that there are 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. A lot of TVs only seem to come with 2, which is a little bit lackluster, but this TV does come with 4, one of which is eARC supported for your sound systems. For other ports, you do have 3 USB ports and Ethernet ports for direct internet connection, a headphone jack, which I'm sure will be good for those PC users, an optical port, and coax. For whatever you have plugged in as well, the clips do a great job on the back end to help you hide cables, and I'm super stoked that they have a solution for cable management. And while I'm back here, I have to say you should consider using some sort of light strip on the back end of your TV. This is easily one of the more affordable ways to make any setup nicer. Even during the daytime, ambient white lights are super clean. Overall though, the build and aesthetic are absolutely top notch, as is the gaming experience. When it comes to gaming, for me this is truly what makes the C2 such an incredible TV. While some people may watch more TV and movies, gaming is where I get my value the most out of this TV. And what makes the C2 so special for me, personally, is the high refresh rate while gaming on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 4K. Like I mentioned, as a longtime PC gamer, high refresh is an absolute must-have for me, and pairing that with a new generation of consoles, this TV absolutely delivers. I recently finished God of War Ragnarok, which is easily one of my favorite games of all time, and frankly I don't know what to do with my hands now. Although I did just move on to Elden Ring for the first time, which has been an interesting experience to say the least. At least I can fail repeatedly on a crisp 4K HDR TV. When it comes to fast-paced gaming like Call of Duty or Overwatch, you can really see the FreeSync and G-Sync come into play, since there's zero noticeable artifacts or tearing while gaming, and it's been an absolute great time. AMD FreeSync will be supported by Xbox Series X, and Nvidia's G-Sync for the PlayStation 5. And while I'm still getting destroyed by children in these games, the filthy toxicity of those lobbies are dampened by the insane colors and inky blacks thanks to the OLED panel. Getting roasted by 12-year-olds really ain't that bad on a beautiful TV. At least I know it's not a hardware problem. With the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, there's a couple standout features that are enabled, which makes this a great choice for gamers, and that's VRR and ALLM. VRR is variable refresh rate, which allows this TV to take advantage of the new-gen consoles for better frame rates while gaming. The thing about this too is that games that were previously locked to 60 FPS like Horizon Forbidden West or Spider-Man now have frames unlocked up to 120 FPS. And what I haven't seen a lot in TVs these days are gaming-specific menus which allow you to change settings and see your FPS on the fly. So this is absolutely a nice touch by LG. And if you are a competitive gamer, ALLM, which is auto low latency mode, makes controller input ridiculously quick, easily one of the better things for console gamers on TVs. And while it's easy to glorify 4K high refresh gaming, it still looks incredible on older systems or say a Nintendo Switch. Switch. And it doesn't end at gaming either. Like I mentioned, content on here does look incredible. Again, I'm not really the media consumption type between wanting to game, work, and parenting and all that, but this is easily one of the best TVs I've ever seen. HDR content truly looks amazing, and it could be because I'm spending a lot of time watching animated movies with my toddler, since these always have incredible 4K HDR imagery. But even throwing on other shows and movies, it's noticeably beautiful on this OLED panel. I will mention OLED panels won't get as bright as mini LEDs, so this should be a consideration if you have a huge light source or a window in your room. I'm situated right next to a window, and mostly it's a non-issue. I just watched Top Gun Maverick for the first time, and honestly, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in a while, and watching it on here was an absolute pleasure. Between reflections and a glossy finish, I would have expected viewing angles to be worse than they are, but even from the extreme side, content is absolutely watchable, not that you'd really ever be in this angle anyways. The speakers are actually really great as well, although I don't really ever blast them, and I can't really show you through this video the quality of the speakers. It is super nice playing music though, and having it fill the entire floor. I'm in the market for a good soundbar though, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I actually would love to hear your suggestions. But what drives this whole TV? The updated WebOS operating system, which honestly has mostly everything you need. While it's definitely fully loaded, I kind of feel like it's a little bit bloated, although I've mostly gotten used to it since I've had this TV, and I'm thinking maybe I've just gotten used to it having used this every single day. There's a lot of apps, ads, and suggestions that I simply don't use. That said, I think I'll likely connect an Apple TV to this soon since I prefer the minimal UI. The C2 does have smart features as well, like Google and Alexa integration, although I can't really say I've used them too much. Not to mention it has all the other popular apps you need like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and more. Stepping into the rest of the operating system, I will say I absolutely appreciate the ambient modes. It's just a nice feature to have while I'm chilling on the couch working or reading. Beyond that, I have to say one of my absolute favorite features still is being able to connect Bluetooth earbuds to the TV. Not waking up my family is an absolute must if I want to get in a late night game session. And when it comes to the remote, it's thick. And while I wasn't really a fan about it in my original review, my opinion largely is unchanged. The magic cursor is cool, but I still don't really use it. The remote shortcut buttons are actually super useful since if I'm not gaming, I'm just swapping between the media apps. Either way, I think I'll be getting a new Apple TV as mentioned, which would replace this remote. From gaming to movies, this has easily been one of the best TVs I've ever used, and honestly, I'm just happy to have high refresh with my new gen consoles. I still PC game every week when I get more competitive, but I'll always be a console COD player, and I'll always prefer open world and story-based games on a TV. And at the end of a long day, jumping into my favorite game is peak relaxation. Anyways, I appreciate you watching till the end. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like or a sub. I'll have everything in my setup linked down below in the video description. I'll catch you in the next one.